Quincy Jones, born on March 14, 1933. His interest in music began as a child, and by the age of 12, he was singing in a gospel quartet. As a junior in high school, he began playing the trumpet. His professional career blossomed with an offer to tour with Lionel Hampton's band as a trumpeter, arranger, and sometime pianist. His career has encompassed the roles of composer, record producer, artist, film producer, arranger, conductor, instrumentalist, TV producer, record company executive, magazine founder, and multimedia entrepreneur. As a master inventor of musical hybrids, he has shuffled pop, soul, hip-hop, jazz, classical, African and Brazilian music into many dazzling fusions, traversing virtually every medium, including records, live performance, movies, and television. Expanding his career, Quincy began scoring music for films such as The Pawnbroker, In the Heat of the Night, and The Wiz, just to name a few of the 33 major motion picture scores to his credit. His equally numerous television scores include The Bill Cosby Show, Ironside, Sanford and Son, and Roots, for which he won an Emmy Award. Together with Steven Spielberg, he co-produced the adaptation of Alice Walker's The Color Purple, winning 11 Oscar nominations. This marked Quincy's debut as a film producer. Quincy's creative magic has spanned over 6 decades, beginning with the music of the post-swing era and continuing through today's high-technology international multimedia hybrids. In the mid-50s, he was the first popular conductor-arranger to record with a Fender bass. His theme from the hit TV series Ironside was the first synthesizer-based pop theme song. He won his first Grammy Award for his Count Basie arrangement, I Can't Stop Loving You. In his 3-year association as arranger and conductor for Frank Sinatra, Quincy, once again teamed with Count Basie, made history with his arrangement of Fly Me to the Moon.
Let me play up there with those stars.
He helped refresh movie music with badly needed infusions of jazz and soul. His landmark 1989 album, Back on the Block, brought such legends as Dizzy Gillespie, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Miles Davis together with Ice-T to create the first fusion of the bebop and hip-hop musical traditions. QJE, Quincy Jones Entertainment, a co-venture with Time Warner Inc., was formed in 1990 as a broad-ranging multimedia endeavour encompassing programming for current and future technologies, including theatrical, network, cable and syndicated television. QJE produced the NBC TV hit series The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It also produced UPN's In the House and Fox TV's Mad TV. Quincy is also the publisher of Vibe, Spin and Blaze magazines. A reference to the backwoods clubhouses of rural America in the 1930s, 40s and 50s, the platinum-selling Q's Juke Joint featured performances by artists such as Bono, Ray Charles, Phil Collins, Herbie Hancock, R. Kelly, Queen Latifah, Barry White, Stevie Wonder and others. As producer and conductor of We Are the World, written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie, brought just about all the big-name artists in America to sing this charity song. Michael asked Quincy to produce his first adult solo album. It was the beginning of the most successful relationships in pop history. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough was one of Michael Jackson's turning point in his career. Michael Jackson's multi-platinum solo albums, Off the Wall, Bad, and the best-selling album of all time, with now over 110 million copies sold worldwide, Thriller.
Quincy goes into the control room, and we're all standing there waiting to see what he's going to say. You know what he told us? Oh, I love this song. He said, okay, guys, we're here to save the recorded music industry. Boy, that's a heck of a mandate, isn't it? We wanted the sonic values of Thriller to really recharge the industry.
Michael said, oh, well, we'll do 100 million with this record. We've got to aim for that. And I always remember Quincy and I looking at each other and say, well, we can't think of it in those terms. You've got to think of it in terms of we're going to make a great record.
Michael was incredibly creative. I mean, that's an understatement, but I remember sitting there many, many times with just Michael in the studio, laying down the tracks, and no matter how good it was, you know, I think Quincy always had to have another take, because he's perfectionist in that way.
Anybody who's worked with him notices this. The way he'll make you do a thing until it's perfect. He'll say, it's beautiful, we have a take. Then he'll say, well, can you give us one more?
It's a question of doing something over and over and over and over again until you get it right and you figure out what it's about.
Bruce Swedien and Quincy, man, it was awesome. They were like one brain, two bodies. They had a method that they did things sonically. We do a tracking, and of course, you know, you come back and they put it on the big speakers and it sounds all big and huge and everything like that, and then Quincy would go like, put it on a radio.
Little Auratone speakers, very small speakers on the top of the desk.
Tiniest speaker you could ever imagine. Yeah.
So you wanted to see if it still had the vibe.
Because if it works on the little ones, you'll you're straight.
And he said, we need something that's got, you know, a more rock feel to it. And Michael went away and, of course, came up with Beat It.
I said, let's do a ghetto rock and roll song. And that's where it started. Michael said, I got one, I don't have the lyrics on it. I said, go put the lyrics on it. I decided to call Eddie Van Halen, and I didn't know him, to come play the solo on Beat It. And Eddie came in, so I'm not going to sit here trying to tell you what to play. The reason you're here is because what you do play. So let's try 3 or 4 takes and sculpt it. And if we did, and he played his ass off.
Eddie was playing and so on, and the monitor speakers literally caught on fire.
The whole speaker was caught fire. And we're all looking at it, this must be really good, this song.
The technicians had to race into the control room with fire extinguishers and put out the fire.
This story has become a bit legend in the studios, but it did happen.
Thriller had very simplistic, heavy electronic rap beats, but there's a more symphonic sort of production with the singing over the top. The recording and mixing engineer of Michael Jackson's albums, Bruce Swedien, insisted on mixing the first mix on his own. Michael and Quincy were also smart enough to leave Swedien alone while he was mixing. This meant he did his best work. They would leave the room and he'd get it all shaped up and ready. And then Michael and Quincy would come back and they'd listen and make adjustments from that. The recording process they used was the Acusonic recording process and the synonymous quantum range recording process. This was not some kind of processing innovation, but rather a name for the manner in which Swedien synchronized multiple 24-track tape machines to access a practically limitless track count. Quincy and Swedien heard many recordings of the day that were very obviously done that way, and there were no transients left on those tapes. So what they would do would be to record the rhythm section on a 24-track tape, then take that tape and put it away and wouldn't play it again until the final mix. What this meant was that a large proportion of the overdubs on Michael Jackson's albums were actually recorded in stereo, thereby improving the sense of width, realism and emotion. Quincy's combination of earthy soulful grooves you can dance to, but with these big expensive sounding productions, we get the sense of his style and production techniques. We get stunning arrangements with lush Hollywood strings, brass and full orchestral productions. Although he tends to arrange and produce all genres of music and is not limited to a particular style, he does generally have a simple driven drum beat and a very funky bass line in much of his productions. Quincy tries to create a sense of a family relationship with the artist to establish an understanding of their personality and their vision of the song. He would spend some time playing little games and sharing jokes to set the mood for a fun atmosphere in the studio. Quincy says he goes for the music that gives him goosebumps, music that touches his heart and his soul.
Because I listen to the orchestra like an x-ray machine because I've been around it all my life. It's what I do. And if it's too thick, too thin, too slow, too fast, wrong key, or whatever it is, all I love to do is just listen, and I hear it.
And there doesn't seem to be any sign of retirement either.
I think retiring is a waste of your life. I really do. What? What's that word? And do what? What would you do if you're retiring? I'm serious.